Once there was, and once there was not, a woodcutter. And the woodcutter lived on the edge of a beautiful forest in a little cottage with his family. Now, he was very poor, but contented enough. Now, one day he realised he'd run out of firewood. Normally, he would pick up branches and twigs from the forest floor, but he couldn't find any. So he got his axe and he sharpened it. And he went to find a good tree to cut down, not too tall, not too crooked, not too small, but medium and straight and just right. And when he'd found just such a tree, he raised his axe and he was just about to cut into the tree when the tree spoke to him and said, "Don't cut me down." And the axe glistened in the sunshine and butterflies came flying by. And when they'd flown by, the woodcutter, who had never been spoken to by a tree before, dropped his axe because he was so scared his heart was beating fast in his chest. "But," he said, "why not? I need some wood for my family. It will be really cold tonight." And the tree said, "Well, listen, I'm a tree. I've got lots of responsibilities. I've got birds who are living in my branches and nesting. I've got insects who live under my bark and snails crawling along my trunk. I've got mushrooms growing in between my toes. So you see, there's all sorts of things going on. But listen," the tree said, "if you don't cut me down, I will grant you one wish." Now, normally in a fairy story, you get 3 wishes, but not this time. The tree granted the woodcutter just one wish. And the woodcutter thought, well, that's fair enough. And he went home to his family with no wood, but with one wish. And the first person he saw was his wife. And the woodcutter told his wife all about this amazing talking tree who'd granted him one wish in exchange for not cutting down the tree for firewood. And the wife said, "Oh, husband, husband, please, please, you know what I'm going to ask for. I really want you to wish that we might have a lovely baby. You know how long we've longed for a baby." And the woodcutter thought, well, that's a very good wish, isn't it? And then he went to see his mother. Now, his mother is blind and cannot see at all, not even shadows. And when his mother heard about the wish, she said, oh, son, please, I beg of you, please, 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 ask that I could see again. Because if I could see, I'd be able to see your faces, I'd be able to see the flowers and the birds and the trees, and life would be so much more happy for me. And the woodcutter thought, well, that is a very good wish. And so it was. As for the woodcutter, what did he wish for? Well, what he really wanted to wish for was lots and lots of gold, because they were so poor, he was really worried about how he was going to feed his family. And if you're really poor, gold is a very good thing to wish for as well. Well, the woodcutter just didn't know how to choose. And that night he went to bed. And he couldn't stop thinking, what am I going to wish for? And when you're trying to get to sleep and you're thinking, you just can't get to sleep. So he wriggled and jiggled and tossed and turned. And in the end, he thought, I'm going to go for a walk in the forest. So he went for a walk in his beautiful forest in the lovely night sky. And he saw a beautiful star, the evening star. And it was so lovely, shining like a diamond. He thought, well, perhaps this evening star could help me. What could I wish for? He asked the star, but the star just twinkled and said nothing. Then the moon appeared from behind a cloud. And the woodcutter said, the moon, maybe the moon can help me work out what to wish for. Tell me, moon, what should I wish for? Oh, but the moon just smiled and went behind a cloud. And in the distance, the woodcutter heard a cow mooing. But still, he couldn't get an answer. And he carried on walking, and he carried on walking, until he saw a little hedgehog rustling and scuttling past his toes. "Can you help me, hedgehog?" said the woodcutter. But the hedgehog just snuffled and carried on. He carried on walking. In the distance, he saw a beautiful deer running through the moonlight. But still he couldn't get an answer. He was exhausted by this time, and then the sun began to rise. And when the sun begins to rise, the most beautiful colours fill the sky. And it was enchanting. And as a last final touch, the sun painted the tops of the trees with gold. "Ah," said the woodcutter, "I know what to wish for. I wish that in 1 year from now, my mother is smiling as she looks down at my baby boy, who she's rocking in a cradle made of solid gold." Now, nobody needs a cradle made of solid gold. So the woodcutter took the cradle and exchanged it for a huge bag of gold coins. And of course, they all lived happily ever after. So, be very careful. If you get one wish, be careful to wish for something you really, really want and need.